Shalom, shalom, mishpocha. Welcome to another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings. Today I want to talk to you about asinine arguments. What do I mean by asinine arguments? Well, asinine is a fancy word, and it's not a profanity, but asinine is a fancy word meaning childish. So I want to discuss to you about some childish arguments that have popped up via Christians to the Messianic and Nazarene Jewish community. And most of it focuses on Torah because most Christians believe that the Torah has either been done away with or augmented extensively because of the Advent of Messiah. But this is absolutely not true. Matthew 5, Yeshua says, I did not come to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I have not come to destroy but to complete. And that Hebrew and Greek word to complete means to bring into its full and complete meaning so that we could walk it out and live it correctly. So, here are some asinine arguments. They say, well, the Torah tells us to go and kill witches. Does that mean we got to go on witch hunts and go out and hunt down witches and kill them like in the Salem witch trials? First of all, yes, the Torah does say, suffer not a witch to live. But there are some requirements before this commandment can be met. Number one, the witch has to be a Hebrew, has to be in the land of Israel, has to be in the Hebraic community and part of the Hebraic religion, and has to be in a society that is under the rule of Torah through a government or through a monarchy. Because most of us are living in exile, not living in the land of Israel. And the land of Israel today is a democratic government. It is not run by Torah, even though it's based on Torah. And especially in the diaspora, we are not under Torah rule through any government, though it is based on it. Therefore, we simply cannot fulfill this commandment. We cannot go out and kill witches. So that's just a childish, ridiculous argument when you look at it from a logical Torah standpoint. Another thing is, well, do you expect me to go out in my backyard and build an altar and start sacrificing animals? Because you say the Torah hasn't been done away with, so that means we still need to sacrifice. Wrong again. Why? Because there's only one place where Yahweh has told us to sacrifice, and that is where he places his name. The only place he has placed his name and approved of animal sacrifices is on the Temple Mount, performed by a Levitical priest in a temple. The temple is not standing. The priesthood is not working in a temple because we have no temple right now, and therefore none of us, most of us anyway, do not live in the land of Israel, so we cannot sacrifice these sacrifices. I liken it unto a pond, where there is a policy that it's free swim all day long, year-round at this pond. So what happens if there's a drought and the water is depleted sufficiently to where no one can swim? Or what if there's a plague or a blight of algae that seizes the pond? Does this mean that the policy of free swim all day, year-round, has been done away with? No. It means it simply has been suspended until the conditions are right to where the policy can be put in place again. Once the drought is over and the water's back up to sufficient safe levels, you can swim. Once the algae problem has been taken care of, you can swim. Once we live in Israel, and once we rule, we're under a rule through a monarchy or a government totally based on Torah, and once we have a temple and a Levitical priesthood, then we can go on witch hunts. Then we can sacrifice and tithe and take the Nazirite vow. So these commandments have not been done away with. These have only been suspended until the conditions are right to where these commandments can be put in place once again. Now, many will say, well, because Yeshua came, he is prophet, priest, and king, so that means that the Levitical priesthood is done away with. No, he said that the Levitical priesthood stands forever. The Torah says that Mashiach is under the priesthood of Melchizedek, which is an earlier and higher order of priesthood that does not do away with the Levitical priesthood, but the Levitical priesthood has to submit to the Melchizedekian priesthood. And once Yeshua returns and rules and reigns from the temple as prophet, priest, and king, he will supervise the Levitical sacrifices. The Levitical sacrifices will be back in place again, because that is the only way that a Levite will be able to make a living and to sustain his life and the life of his tribe and family, because the sacrifices go to feed his family, to clothe his family, etc., etc., because the Levites have no inheritance in the land of Israel. So, Mashiach didn't do away with the Levitical priesthood. He simply is above it in the higher order of the Melchizedekian priesthood. So, okay, if, doesn't the sacrifices slap in the face of the redemptive work of Yeshua? By no means. Prior to Yeshua, the sacrifices were an allegorical object lesson, so to speak, that prophesied and told of the Mashiach to come that would redeem us. Post Yeshua, the sacrifices that take place once the temple's rebuilt will be a object lesson that looks back to the Messiah who came. People have been saved the same way through all generations, and that is the belief in the Messiah to come, or the Messiah that already has come in our case, and walking in the footsteps of that Messiah by walking and following in the Torah. Plain and simple. So hopefully this has helped clear some maybe fuzzy things on the Torah. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you'll tune in again next time for the next edition of Torah Tidbits or Ray Bash's Ramblings. Shalom, Shavua Tov Mishpocha, and take care. And in the words of Bob Ross the painter, bye-bye. God bless.